fire off an invite to Bobby, and then we will get going. It's one of the first days of sports betting in New York. If you haven't heard, you've been living under a rock. Means bonus money. Okay. Just text him. Sent. Okay, let's get the chat up. Get my projections up over here. We'll be ready to go. Yes, thank you, Sharks. Who needs the NBA when you got League of Legends? So I'm gazing at this, value sheet here, and as Giannis, as Whiteside looks really strong. What is this LaMelo here at 8%? And Julius Randle at 8%, huh? You have all this San Antonio business that probably is going to be, I won't say chalky, but whatever value. And what's wrong with running it back with the with the Randall? Yeah, thanks, Brian. The Survivor was a long season, and I ran like freaking Jesus all year long. I got to do a video of just the incredible beats that I put on people. From the Justin Tucker 64-yard field goal bouncing on the crossbar after completing a 4th and 19, by the way. I mean, it just goes on and on and on and on and on. So again, as I was saying, you have all this San Antonio value that's like kind of looking here. And what's wrong with just with winding it up with Julius Randle as well? Yes, Bobby. What's going on, Bobby?
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm really mad at you because we've had New York sports betting here. So what I did today was I trolled all the sites for the best free bonus points, and I went on there and I'm like, all right, Matt, come over here. We got to send in some bets. And I'm like, who do you like? Who do you like? I'm like, he's like, well, what are the locks? I don't know. Let's see. Bobby usually puts up his bets of the day.
I know it was.
And I went and I pulled it up and there was nothing there.
I know.
Amazing.
I'm sorry about that. It's sorry to everyone out there. Actually, my girlfriend just got back and I haven't seen her in like a month, and she just got back from Chile, so I was like spending time with her, and I just didn't get to all my stuff today. So sorry about that, guys. It will not happen again for the next.
Yes, unbelievable. Okay.
Sorry about that.
So I also like to say, who needs the NBA when you got League of Legends? That's my
yeah,
that's
beautiful.
my rhetorical question. That's my rhetorical question. And you know what it reminds me of? And Matt's gonna turn away because he's heard this joke 100 times before. This guy is like this like compulsive gambler. He's like kind of like he's a father, he's a wife and kids and all this stuff, but he just can't get out of his own way with gambling. And it's one football season, he like every single week he's bets football with his bookie. He bets like 15 games a week. He does all the research. He does whatever. He loves it so much. First week he goes like 3-12. Second week goes like 3-12, and now he's like losing all of his money. He empties his bank account. Then like by week 5, he's like 2-15 or something like that. And after like 7 or 8 weeks, he's like mortgaged his whole house almost, and he's like his wife's leaving him. It's a terrible story, and even the bookie feels like so bad for him. And the bookie says to him, maybe football is like not your thing. Maybe you should like bet on basketball. And he says, basketball? What do I know about basketball? So I don't know. I figure this out. I don't know. Thought it was somewhat relevant. Okay, so what do you like here, Mr. Bobby?
I think you're starting like your basic core should be Whiteside, Nurkic, and Simons as your 3 top plays. I don't see a way really around it. And I think they're all excellent plays.
Brogdon out.
Nurkic-
Or Brogdon out, by the way.
Brogdon out. Okay. Well, that's going to open up some more stuff in that indie game. I'm not actually playing tonight in the interest of true transparency. It was too late for some of the bigger tournaments, and I'm just, it's been a hectic few. It was a really, I actually had a really good Sunday, by the way, except for the very end. Like I can't remember what touchdown it was late. I think it might have been the Seattle Arizona game, but I went from winning like 20,000 to like winning like a few thousand. Okay. So that was a little frustrating. I was winning the sweep for 20K, I think. It was. Okay. So that would have been fun. But Duarte also ruled out, by the way. Anyway, but it was I think that. So what are we gonna do, Sheets, with this Lance thing? Because I mean, they kind of have to keep letting him go, right?
What is he? 5,000 now?
He's 5,500, and look, as long as no one just keeps playing this guy, you should probably have him in your mix. I would prefer to play him in general at home games. I think he gets a lot of energy out of the crowd, and they really like him. But with no Duarte and no Brogdon, he should play he might play like 30 minutes, and he has been incredible, the last couple games. And I think he's a really viable tournament play.
Well, also with no what's his name, with no Duarte. Also, I think weren't we right back to those other guys, the Sykes in Washington?
Yeah, but Sykes is 4.6. Washington's 4.8. I would rather just play Lance personally and hope for the ceiling.
Yeah,
Sykes is fine. But they will have. It looks like they will have what's his name tonight, Torrey Craig. So that could cut into some minutes of Lance's. But I do think that they're. I mean, talk about a ceiling. The guy's put up 40 and 55 the last two games. Like, shouldn't we just keep playing the guy and just?
I don't know about that. I don't know. It feels fishy.
Well, I don't think it's fishy because nobody's playing him.
Okay.
And these are not they're not outlier numbers. We know Lance can be productive when he plays, and he had 14 assists the other night. In 28 minutes against Utah, that's tough, man. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And boy, it was frustrating. The only lineup I didn't have him in on the Saturday slate was the 555, which I cashed pretty deep in, but I won the 40 the mid range. I had a shot at the fadeaway with just two lineups in there. And,
really?
I do want to get some Lance going. I don't think you should make him a staple of your lineups, but I do think you want to get some exposure. And it's going to be really interesting because on DraftKings, I think you're going to see a lot of people with Nurkic and Whiteside in the utility, and maybe trying to find another type of build, maybe including a guard in your mix might be the right way to go. Anyway.
Yeah, I think Lance is. I'm starting to update now stuff with the Indiana news, and that'll be done over the next half an hour or so, or 20 minutes.
Okay.
But yeah, honestly, it's kind of hard to deny. You know what I mean? You get these resurgence. You know what I mean? He was out of the league, right? And they gave him a shot, and he's making the most of it.
Yeah, and again, I prefer it at home games, but as long as no one plays him, I think it's a perfect tournament play.
Some sort of a tough matchup, though.
No, Boston's terrible.
Boston's bad all of a sudden.
They've been horrible. They're one of the worst. They're not even in the playoff picture in the East. They've been a terrible team.
That's brutal.
It's pretty crazy that the Lakers have got so much hype about this, but they've been terrible. Atlanta's been terrible. A lot of these teams that were together. Denver, everybody keeps talking about how Jokic could win the MVP. I'm like, Jokic cannot win the MVP. You can't be a 500 team and win the MVP. And if that's going to happen for anybody, it's going to be LeBron. But that's a separate story.
Who is going to win the MVP?
Right now, it's definitely. I think it's going to be Steph or Durant, probably.
Durant, really?
Yeah, when he plays, they have a pretty good record, and you had no Kyrie getting in the way. James Harden's having a down year.
Right.
So I think that those would be the two favorites right now. And probably third would be DeRozan, probably.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah. James says Lance is no secret. Okay. So what percentage do you think Lance is going to be owned tonight? I would love to hear what everybody else thinks on this one. What do you think, Sheets?
People have to play him with those guys out, dude.
I mean, they were projected to be out the whole day. It wasn't like anything changed.
Oh, really? I didn't have any of these guys projected even on the board. Indianapolis.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
At least I had him the whole day, but I didn't spend a ton of time on it. I mean, it's not like he shows up well for projections at all.
Yeah. Let me just see if
I think it's a great turn. I mean, if you guys really think a bunch of people are going to go out there and play him, I think that you're wrong.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, maybe you're right. Well, how many minutes is he going to get? 25?
Could get. I mean, he played 32 and 28 the last 2 games.
Right.
So there's definitely the minutes to go, but they should have Torrey Craig back, which could cut into some of those minutes.
What do you think? Sykes will get his 30 minutes and score 20 fantasy points, right?
Ish, yeah. I mean, look, Lance might be 2 or 5% owned, at most, 10% possibly. I don't think that that's even possible. I mean, I don't think that's even likely. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
By the way, we were on it. I think we do. I'm definitely going to take the victory lap on this one. that's one that we were. I mean, I said right away when he played that game in Indy, when he went back to the first game in Indy, I said, "This is a spot." And Sheets held to it and played him in the big one, and I didn't play him in the big one, but I played him in the other ones. What do you think about some of these other guys tonight, Sheets? Who else are you looking at?
Well, hang on. I'm just updating.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, you want to talk to me about what you think of the San Antonio values?
I mean, it's San Antonio. It's always hard to have a read on it, but I would rate it Walker, Primo, maybe Bates, Diop, then Forbes, because of the position eligibility. Point guard and shooting guard is stronger.
Did you do a video today?
No, I didn't end up doing one.
You didn't get to it. Okay, I was curious of how yours would have been different from mine, because the way I looked at the couple of things, the San Antonio value is I just feel as though all of those guys are going to be fighting for the same usage. In other words, I wouldn't play more than one of those guys.
Maybe. Yeah, I would tend to agree. Maybe you could play 2 of them.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you had the big game from Walker yesterday. I think he put up like 40. I still think he's probably the most viable because he can get high, but they're all viable. I think you can play Bates, Diop with either he or Primo, and I think it's fine. I think Primo is probably the best section. I actually really like Primo, really? But it's just eligibility.
What do you think of David Nwaba?
Not much.
Because I have both these guys as popping, him and Christopher.
Somebody out? I would prefer Christopher. I would like to see their starting lineup before I make that commitment, actually. If Christopher starts, look, Nwaba's fine. Absolutely fine. It's not, we know there's a wide range of outcomes in his game. He's not going to be terribly high owned, but he will have some ownership. But I would rather play Christopher personally. How do you rank them, Sheets?
Yeah, I have them ranked really high. That's why I asked.
Yeah, I would tend to lean. I mean, you see Nwaba, even he's not getting like these crazy minutes, and even when he does, like the guy hasn't. I mean, he could put up 20 fantasy points, which is fine for his price. I think Christopher is probably a little bit of a better play.
What do you think of Ben McLemore?
Large field, take a shot, kind of a thing.
Yeah. I got a couple of other nonsense plays. What do you think of, I got another one for you. What do you think of Rajon Rondo?
Yeah, so this is an interesting one. What happened to him the other night? He put up like 25 in the first half, and then I don't think he had any after that. That was weird. But it's a back-to-back, right, for Cleveland. They got pretty much housed last night. I don't know. I honestly feel like I really feel stuck on the Rondo thing on the back-to-back. It's I wouldn't be 100% sure that he's going to play.
Okay. Speaking of that, then you're going to get some chalky Portland guys, and they're all on a back-to-back. What do you think of that?
I mean, they were playing at home against Brooklyn. No problem with it.
Okay. Because what I was considering doing when I was doing the video earlier was just playing a bunch of Portlands, running it back with Durant or Harden, and just wait, and just
No
just,
Harden. Harden's out.
Oh, Harden's out?
Yeah.
What the hell do I know? And then run it back with Durant, I guess, and then just roll.
Yeah, I actually don't think I wouldn't overlook Kyrie, to be honest. Because I like Durant better, but I do think Kyrie is just at that point where I think he's in play, and his price on FanDuel is going to make him really popular. But I don't think people are going to play him as much, maybe like 25%, 20% on DraftKings. But I think he's really reasonable at 8,800 with no Harden. But I would prefer Durant.
I want to, for those of you who didn't hear this in the Discord, I spent a little time on this actually, and I enabled everything to be able to get Yahoo sheets up. So we started doing those today, and so we're gonna start to support the Yahoo projections. Yeah.
Awesome. And again, I apologize for not getting my stuff up there today, guys. It's you won't find me doing it again. Doesn't happen very often with me, but I didn't get it today. We got a question from Nicholas, like Dunbar over here, like asking about the priorities. I'll go through them again. It's Whiteside, Nurkic, Simons. If you're going to go ahead and play a couple of those, like you said, the Portland guys, I would my next play would be Little in that game, and then Ellaby if I had to go anywhere.
Oh yeah, what about Ellaby? Tell me about him.
Nothing really to tell.
Okay, he's not like a really good player or something?
No.
Okay.
He's 3K. Like, I mean, that's pretty much what he's got going for him.
No, he's not like some superstar, like recruit or anything like that.
He could end up playing 10 minutes, and he could end up playing 30 minutes. Neither one would surprise me. And your large field, maybe mixing a little Dennis Smith Jr. and I said large field for Ben McLemore, but then you run it back with Kyrie or Durant. That's what I'd be focusing on. I do think with the back-to-backs, you're going to see some guys potentially out tonight that we don't know about. And also, I mean, look, it's still the COVID era. There's a million people getting this a day. You never know who might be out by game time. So I would try to play the delay game outside of Whiteside as the earliest priority. I think you can play Giannis. That's fine. I would rather play Durant probably today. It's a great matchup for Giannis. He's just, against Charlotte, he can sort of do whatever he wants. But I don't think
I'll tell you, man, I think we should think more about that game because I was really getting into LaMelo and Giannis. I mean, it's a 200 million point total and a close spread. I mean, shouldn't we be wanting some of that?
Just saw this game though. Like literally, this game just happened, and
okay.
LaMelo did what he always does. He puts up 44 fantasy points. He's been over 50 one time in like the last month and a half.
Okay.
I think it's very thin, but there's always a chance with him. Like we know, not a month and a half. I guess it was December 1st. Well, yeah, I guess that is almost a month and a half. December 1st was the last time he was over, and that's when. And remember, they had a lot of guys out. Now, oddly enough, that was against this Milwaukee team. I mean, sure. I would probably rather. I mean, you're going to play LaMelo instead of Harden. I would probably rather play Harden.
Or play Bridges.
I like Bridges. He was on my winning lineup the other night when they played in this matchup. Yeah, he put up 39. He's a solid play here for sure. I think that I would probably say my favorite outside of Bridges would be Rozier, but I don't think I need to do that early in the day with question marks. And it's not even the question marks. It's just what we don't know. You know what I mean? Like Cleveland on a back-to-back. What are they going to do? Sacramento, you never know if somebody just might be out. Like it's just I don't know.
Who was pretty serviceable for me last night. I got there with the Lamar Stevens yesterday.
Yeah.
He had a nice game. They had him in at the end. I mean, he had a nice game.
They were down by 24 points though, weren't they?
But they kept him in, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but that's sort of the opposite of what you're thinking is going to happen in general, right? Like they're favorite tonight.
I guess.
I don't think he's by any means like going to be on the closing lineup for them. I think it would be Rondo, but it's hard to know. It's still pretty fresh,
Rondo on a back-to-back, like you were saying. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. You could end up seeing Rondo out, and you could end up seeing Rondo play a bunch of minutes again. he did play in Sacramento for a little bit, so you want to get a little any Rondo narrative always seems to work.
Two other guys that were getting ownership that we haven't discussed are Anthony Simons and I brought him up already. Is Nurkic, these Portland guys. And
I mentioned about that they're the priorities on the slate.
Okay, you don't care if they're because back they're playing Brooklyn. Gotcha.
Yeah, they are the priorities, and they especially because they're in the last game too.
Right.
But along with Whiteside too.
And Whiteside, yeah, okay.
But I would be backloading for sure on this slate. I don't feel like I need. I do get a little nervous about missing that one game. And Whiteside, I know hasn't had good games in the last couple. I'm very happy to roll with it even at chalky ownership. I think he's still a good play. Yeah, I think look, Giannis is a good play, but I would rather play Durant at 1,400 cheaper. I'm actually surprised at this ownership projection on Giannis. Cheats, are you showing Giannis at plus 25%?
I have him 24.
It's interesting because he had a big game. He had a big quarter last time. He wasn't having a great game, and then he put up like 40 in the fourth quarter, I think, against the same team. It's kind of interesting to me that everybody's on that play. I guess you can kind of afford to play he and Durant, but why? I don't know. I'm showing him as being a lot more owned than Durant, and I actually think that's a mistake. I like him better on FanDuel, but like at 12K with the 1,400 discount to Durant, I think I would just go that route.
You like Brogdon out, Sabonis?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I would rather, Durant.
Right.
But I think they're comparable. They're very close. Kyrie and Durant together, it's okay. I actually think it's viable. It's a great matchup for them. They got a big total. You could play Kyrie and Durant and then run it back. And look, you might come up with something different. You never know. Some Cleveland sits Kevin Love on a back-to-back. You never know what's going to happen with these later ones. So I would say that I think it's a fine place to start, but just be ready to pivot in case you get some other snooze. But if I was going to do that, I probably would want a third Blazer in there with Simons and Nurkic. I probably would want to play a Little or something like that, or maybe even a Covington.
I was thinking of if you're going to play these. I was thinking of if you're going to play these San Antonio guys to play Randall.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's viable. I think that's a good way to go. That you could sort of build a little stack there. Randall, wow, he got cheap in a hurry, huh? I like that play, Cheats, a lot, and that's a really, really good call.
I'm getting a bunch of Markkanen.
I wonder, did we miss something? Kevin Love projected to be out of here?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't have anything on that yet, but I do think that there is a chance, like on a back-to-back. I don't know. It's certainly viable. Like that. I don't see Mark. It's weird. I don't have him. Like I don't see his projection being that great.
Yeah, I only have him at like 25, 26 fantasy points, but whatever.
Huh. I wonder why it's getting there. I wonder if you're just ending up in a funny price tier or something.
This is Yahoo. What are we doing here?
Wait, you're saying on Yahoo you're getting it?
Yeah, now I'm on Yahoo. Sorry.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that.
This is part of the danger of running too many sites now. Let's see. Let's see what my DraftKings builds will look like. I'll let you know what I got going over there.
Yeah, that might be. And that's why we got to, you guys, we got to always remember to be site specific. I think Rozier is viable, but I would try to avoid as much as I can. I would rather play the later guys. It's just always going to edge that way.
Yeah, and like you, the reason, and one of the reasons you motivated me to do the Yahoo was like the other day you mentioned that Kyrie was a good player over there. He's like a really, really good player over there today as well.
Same, yeah.
Yeah, no Lowry Markkanen on DraftKings.
Yep.
Yeah, the Rondo thing's going to be interesting. What happens with him? Primo, you like Primo the best of those guys, huh?
No, I like Walker the best, but Primo just because the Primo would be next for me.
Rondo.
They played Primo 40 minutes though.
And he scored like 7 fantasy points.
I know you're gonna. Yeah, he's 19 years old. He's gonna have some up and down spots. He really is.
Right.
He's like the second youngest player, I believe, in the NBA.
Is that right?
I think so. Not 100% on that. I mean, look, you could always get a hot game from Forbes. All these guys are viable. I would slant with the ones who take shots like Walker, and then Primo's going to have some up and down games, but the minutes are hard to ignore. All right. Any other questions? Any Lyles? Did I miss something with the Lyles?
I didn't even know the Pistons are playing. I didn't even know the Pistons are playing tonight.
Who's out?
Is Isaiah Stewart out or something like that?
No, Isaiah Stewart's playing.
I have Primo is questionable, by the way. Oh, he's probable
now. Yeah, I mean, keep it. That's another thing you get for the later games too. Lyles is look, if it was in Utah, I'd like a little bit of the narrative a little better. It's fine. I don't have a problem with Lyles. I just, it's not what I would try to go for personally. But he's fine. He's been pretty good lately. We've seen a whole different side of him. And they've been playing him, even though Jackson's been playing. So I think that he's viable. By the way, Evan Fournier is in.
Oh, okay.
That's that.
Let me see FanDuel. Let me see specifically on FanDuel what I got going over here. Hold on.
Nicholas Dunbar asking about Christopher over Nwaba. Yeah, I would play Christopher over Nwaba. I don't think there's a huge gap between them, but I probably would give a slight lean towards Christopher. I would like to see a starting lineup, to be honest with you. I don't like making these comments without knowing for sure. You know what I mean?
Meanwhile, shout out to FanDuel. So I was mentioning to Bobby offline that I had my account locked because of my idiot son. But in any case, they not only did they reinstate it, they apologized and gave me a $500 site credit.
Oh, that's nice.
For missing Sunday, which I probably would have gotten slaughtered. Actually, that's not true. I did well in football yesterday, just like you did. Sort of. You like Thibault at all? You like Thibault at all today?
I mean, there's never like Thibault's only always a good play, ever a good play because we you just want to plug in a different cheap guy. There's nothing special about any matchup for him ever.
Okay.
Except for when they play Brooklyn because they have to have him on the court more. But he's going to play minutes. Whether he gets there or not, it's just completely random. It's the truth.
Right.
We've seen him play 40 minutes and put up 5 fantasy points. We've seen him put up 40. It's just complete randomness. It is a good matchup against Houston. Maybe he can get some more steals. I think he's viable, especially with Curry being questionable.
Oh, you know what? Now I know why some of these Houston guys, the Nawab is popping, is that Eric Gordon is out. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Sheetsy, Adam's got a question for you. He said, are your value scores relative to the salary in there on the site? Right now, the spreadsheets have DK prices. I don't know what the question. I don't know.
I'm gonna try to read what he's asking first, and then I'm just looking at something else right now.
Yep, guys, as I mentioned 100 times, Jusuf Nurkic is a core play. It's the main guy you want to use. Do I like Cody Martin? No. It's just a random play. It's like the Thibault thing, but probably a little bit worse because the minutes are more in flux.
Let me see what he's asking me. Fine. He says, "Are you asking where on Yahoo Oh, Yahoo. Let me see. No, they're supposed to have the Yahoo prices. So let me look into that. Hold on a minute.
Seth Curry just got ruled out.
Okay.
That's a pretty big piece of news. I actually think that makes Tobias Harris and Embiid. I think Embiid is like just the center is loaded. I honestly think you should be playing almost entirely centers in your utility. I really think that because Embiid is a great play, was already a great play. Now he's a really great play. Maybe the white side becomes a little less necessary. You could play an Embiid and Nurkic lineup, and then play Durant as well in that lineup. I think you can afford to do it with some of this value on the slate. I like it. I mean, I really think Embiid is going to just absolutely crush Houston.
Now this Curry thing is starting to make me want to play more Thibault, I guess. Not really.
I mean, I guess shouldn't really affect anything minutes wise, and Thibault's just a low usage guy, but maybe it does a little bit. I guess I don't know. It's an extra shot or two. I don't know.
Yeah, you're right, Adam. For some reason, it's grabbing Yahoo. So I'm going to look into that as soon as we get off of this, and I'll let you know if I get that updated. Okay.
Korkmaz was a good play anyway, so I actually like Korkmaz, Embiid, even Tobias Harris. I would consider him play. I mean, Seth Curry is really like taking a much more aggressive role on this team, so him being out actually is fairly substantial. And you will see a lot. I think that Korkmaz could have a really big game here. He's, got another one with a little bit of a wide range of outcomes sometimes with his production, but he should have the ball in his hands a ton. Yeah, I would ignore these. I mean, honestly, outside of Whiteside, I think I'm probably skipping the first games for anybody I would be playing personally. It's fine. Like, there's Giannis is a good play. Rozier is fine. LaMelo, not my favorite, but it's fine. Bridges I like, but like you just don't need to do it. Like I would be focusing Embiid, Nurkic, Durant, Simons, and then the other value from between San Antonio, Portland, potentially Cleveland with Rondo, and maybe Korkmaz or Thibault if you want to get more involved in that game. Josh Christopher, these are the guys who I would be building around.
Yeah, Adam, to answer your question, yeah, just go with the fantasy points are correct, but yeah, the value scores are wrong. The points per dollar are wrong because, yeah, it is taking in DraftKings salary for some reason, but it's not my fault. That's the best way I can describe this. I'll get this worked out with the provider. That's right now. The NBA.
Okay. Any other questions, guys? I do want to say that I'm a big fan of complaining now. As you mentioned, since we complained the other day, I haven't had a losing day. And I haven't had a non-losing day. That's why I didn't want to play today. I don't want to mess with it. Anybody else going to watch the college football championship tonight?
I am.
Who do you like, Sheets? I know you're going to say Bama.
Why do you think I'm going to say Bama?
Because I'm going to say Georgia, and you almost always go the opposite of me.
This is very important, though. No, I actually need people's opinion here because I'm in this pool where I honestly just need to pick who is going to be less owned against the spread between Georgia and Bama. That's all I need to do. That's my only decision. And I don't know. Here's okay. I'll talk everybody through this. So I'm in this pool. I'm in like sixth place. It's kind of hard to explain, but you got to win by a certain amount of points and all this stuff. We're down to the last game, and I have to make up ground on 5 people ahead of me. And the only way to make up ground is to pay somebody that they don't take. Right? That's the only way you can do it.
Wait,
So
what is this? It's in?
it's
What
a
is
college
that?
bowl pool.
Oh, the college bowl pool. Yeah. What happened with this? Sorry, remind me to ask you about Survivor afterwards. Sorry.
Survivor, we won cash for 25,000.
That's huge, man. That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Let's go. That's awesome.
Yeah. So this college bowl pool, whatever, it's down to the last game, and I have to make up ground on points based on how many points they covered by over the 5 guys ahead of me. Everybody's picking this game. So the only way for me to make any progress is to pick the team that they don't take somehow, right? Don't matter who I like. I mean, because we all take the same team, but who cares, right? And here's the thing. I happen to feel as though Bama is like the public pick, right? Because they beat Georgia before, and they're not the favorite. You know what I mean? And all that. But the problem is that there's a guy I know for a fact is taking Georgia, who's in third. Okay. So on the one hand, I want to take Bama to get leverage off of him, but I just have this feeling that the other guys are taking Bama. Is that what is everybody's sense of like the public? You know what I mean? Like I'd love to just try to figure out what these guys ahead of me are likely to do. You have any idea? Like you like Georgia, right? Is that what most people do? Most people like Georgia or no?
That's a good question. I think with these things, I just think people who don't pay attention as much just naturally are always going to think that Alabama is the favorite. And I just don't think that's the case. Like, I don't know. I always think Alabama, gets all the love and everything, and for good reason, obviously. I mean, freaking win every time. I don't know. What are you guys saying? What do you guys like out there in the chat? I don't even. The spread did change, right?
Here's the reality. The reality is that this is my logic. So Bama was favored. Georgia was favored by 6 points over them the last time they played, like a month ago.
Yeah, they're 2.5-point favorites this time.
And now they're a 2.5-point favorite. And the question is, what's changed? The players are the same. However, what changed is that Bama beat them by 15.
In a game that meant absolutely nothing to Georgia, but yeah.
Right. So why is the spread now only 2.5? Because people saw that Bama won and moved that Georgia has to be the sharp side, right? Which means that probably people are taking Bama, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But if I take, if I take Georgia though, I give up first because there's literally no way that I can get first if I take Georgia because there's one guy ahead of me that has Georgia. But on the other hand, for me to actually get first, not only do I have to be right about them all picking the other side, but I actually have to win by like 20 points.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, if it was me, like if I was making a specific bet like that, I like Georgia in this game. I like them 30-17. That's where I would be. And I'll look like the biggest idiot in the world if I just don't roll with the Bama thing. I know a guy who made a very large bet, considering how much money he has, on Georgia the first time they played the conference. And I'm like, I mean, look, sports betting 101 for me is don't bet on teams with nothing to play for. Like, really, they get nothing out of that. You know,
and Georgia was the team with nothing to play for.
I mean, Georgia was in the title. Look, they're in the title game and they lost that game. They knew they were going to make the playoff. I mean, look, you say they want to win the SEC championship. I think they wanted to win, but I don't think that they really cared that much.
I think I'm going to give up first, and I think I'm going to take Georgia. I think that's what I'm going to do. I think that's the reality.
Yeah. I think if I was playing basketball, I think I would play Rondo tonight. I really do. The back-to-back does worry me, and he played a lot of minutes, but I mean, Rondo is like literally you give the guy any narrative and he always comes through. Like he never fails.
You know what? Guys like this like to play, you know. And
And it's Sacramento too. Like it's in Sacramento. Like he
oh, it
played
is,
there.
isn't it? Huh?
Yeah. And by the way, he might not be the one who sits. It might be Kevin Love who sits. Which
Right.
could open up 4 minutes. You know what I mean in the rotation even.
So what do you do about this about Curry being out? You play for Korkmaz? Is that the story?
Korkmaz would be the one who gets the boost. But I think Embiid. I think the answer is Embiid actually.
Okay, that makes sense.
I liked Embiid anyway. It just center is loaded. But if you play, I think Embiid Nurkic is a way to get off of some of the Whiteside chalk. And I actually think Whiteside will have a good game tonight. But I would rather, I don't know. I think you're going to get lower ownership on Embiid because, and you have got Christian Wood who's going to be popular, Nurkic, Whiteside. I like that Brian Brooks he's rolling with Lance. We've seen it too many times now, right? I am going to say, though, in general, I'm going to encourage people to try to play Lance more when he's in Indy than when he's on the road. Because I do think he gets a lot of energy out of that crowd.
Yeah, but this is they signed him for a thing, right? A multi-year contract now, right? Or like a full-year contract or something, right?
Wait, for who? Sorry.
Lance, I think they signed him.
Oh, yeah, I think they did send him too. I mean, it makes sense. Like, he's been freaking amazing. Like, what are they doing? Just play the guy.
Yeah.
I've always loved Lance. I don't know why, like, I know he does some weird stuff, but it's not like he's like a lunatic. Like, he's not like hurting people. I don't know. It's just, I don't understand why he's been out of the league as long as he has.
And who did he get into it with? He got into it with
LeBron.
With LeBron, right?
Yeah. He dominated one of those games too. He dominated LeBron once. It was crazy.
Right.
James wants to talk you off of Georgia. It is weird to bet on.
It's not a question of. Again, this is now you're in my world. Okay, like it's not a question of who you like. I really don't care who anybody likes. I just want to know what people above me are going to do.
Yes,
that's really all I care about. And I just feel as though they're going to take Bama. Ugh, maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll just, you know what? All else being equal, I'll go with you, Bob. I'll just take Georgia.
Yeah. Brian, I'm with you, buddy. I like the play of Lance tonight. I think it's a good really good large field tournament play. I just think it's so crazy. This guy just has gone nuts twice, and now no one's gonna play. The Torrey Craig thing does kind of hurt a little bit, though. Torrey Craig will take 20 minutes from somebody.
Torrey Craig sucks.
He plays all the time. He's a good defender for a team that doesn't play defense.
Right.
Torrey Craig 2 times this year put up like 50 fantasy points. I don't even know how that happened. Yeah. It was amazing. And no, guys, I have to say, before anybody asks, I do not think Torrey Craig is in play.
He isn't?
No. I don't know how many minutes he's going to get. But he'll get something.
Yeah, I mean, with these guys out, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'd rather play Lance. I mean, he's more of an offense.
Yeah, Lance has everything. Hey, man, he doesn't even need to score. He looked 13 assists the other night. That's incredible.
No,
it's pretty crazy that he and Isaiah were on the same team in the G League.
We'll put that in a second. Who's he like?
He's got 20 units.
Who's he like?
Georgia -3.
Georgia?
With the spread.
I
don't know what he's always picks what you don't think.
Bobby likes Georgia too.
-20 units on it. He also likes Georgia money line. He got 5 units on it. He likes Alabama first half total under 13.5. And first half under.
I like that. I like both those bets actually.
Well, it's basically just putting all your eggs in one basket and praying that Georgia just blitzes.
It's a 5-team part. That's the insane same game
I'm
part.
hoping that Georgia wins like a crappy game.
Yep. I mean, I said Alabama was gonna. I picked them. I'm gonna look like a real idiot if I'm. I mean, Alabama's got the better quarterback. They just won by 25 against this team. They should basically always be the favorite in the title game, and I just don't think they're gonna win the game. I think Georgia's a better team than they are.
It's a good game.
No, zero interest in Podol for me. Too many good centers tonight to answer Shark's question.
This is going to be the logic. The logic is going to be this. The logic is going to be that everybody between B-Man and me knows that he's taking Georgia, that they have to take Bama, so I will take Georgia. That's what's going on.
Yeah. There it is.
It's just these two guys. It's just the same
Right,
guy.
right.
And you said he has one of each, so it doesn't matter.
Well, I think so. He's one of each.
It will not
I don't know what
matter
he's
at
going
all.
to do.
If you think he's taking one of each, it won't matter what he does. Because then he's going to have to pick what the first two guys did. So regardless, if you think it's going to be a close game, it doesn't matter what he did.
Yeah, I'm never catching B-Man. He's 30 ahead of me, unless I take Bama.
And this guy's all over.
You know what? You know what?
That's what I'm saying. Fade the king now?
Yeah, we'll fade the king. Well, no, we'll bet the king. We'll bet it. We'll
I
bet
didn't
it.
know he was taking
Bet on
Georgia.
Bama.
What did we do? Oh, we did already? On the thing, we did? All right, guys, I'm going to go. I got important stuff I got to do.
Okay, good luck to everybody tonight.